I have the power!
What's up guys, Captain Gamesta, and today I want to talk to you guys about one of my favorite franchises, cartoons, and toy lines all in one, and that is Masters of the Universe with He-Man. And today is going to be a quick overview about what I think about the Origins toy line in general, and then of course I'll talk a little bit about He-Man himself. So, first of all, I want to start by saying the Origins toy line is fantastic. I mean, it's getting a great, positive, overwhelmingly fantastic response. You know, people are buying these figures, collecting them, and rightfully so. Out the gates, I want to say it is great. Everything from the packaging, in other words, they take the retro aesthetic, not only on the card backs of the individual figures, but you know, on everything. They have great artwork. They have that kind of vintage arrangement of showing the available figures in the current wave. And it is very pristine, appealing, comic book, cartoony, retro, all of that. So let's jump into the figures themselves. First, I'm going to talk about the male figures, since this is He-Man. In another video, I'll talk about the female figures. So straight up, He-Man is about heroes, right? It's about combining barbarians, sword and sorcery, with elements of science fiction. Now that's incredible. That's an awesome mashup. Whether it's anime, comics, you know, or different kinds of cartoons or shows, I'm always a big fan of mashups. So one of the main reasons that He-Man really stands out to me, whether it's growing up or even by today's standards, I can always get behind a positive figure, right? A heroic character. You know, he's humble, does the right thing, always down for his family, his friends, you know, his kingdom in this case, the land. And even though he's quote unquote perfect or nearly perfect or invincible, it's still fun to see what he goes through when he battles his enemies. I mean, especially in the retro and the original cartoon episodes, which again, to me, I can still appreciate and watch because they do have somewhat of a feel and a style and tone for that era, of course. But again, I like the more, you know, kind of simple, elegant, pure approach. They also have a lot of, you know, lessons learned, and, you know, they speak directly to the audience at the end. So, you know, that's great for kids and whatnot, but even as an adult, it's still something you can appreciate because it kind of reminds you that in this world where there's so much, you know, darkness and negativity, it really is all about, you know, love and being positive, you know, kindness and stuff like that. So, you know, He-Man basically embodies that. As a matter of fact, the whole heroic cast of Masters of the Universe to some extent, right? And then I also like the mini comics. The mini comics add more of that edge. You know, it's more about like the action, the, you know, the battling and stuff, which you still see in the cartoon. That is something I can cover in another video. So the Origins line to me is my favorite line. I have so many vintage figures. I had a few of the 2000 He-Mans, but you know, I never really got into the classics. And I don't really plan on getting into any of the future ones. I'm going to stick with my favorites from the Origins. Let me tell you why. As you all know, what they advertise is a retro-inspired figure with modern play. Basically said, they took the old mold from the original vintage figures, but they modernized them by making them stand a little bit taller, because the older ones were very like squat, you know, like squatted down, and they didn't have any articulation other than like, you can move the arms this way, you get some power punching like rubber band twist action, and then the legs were also connected by a rubber band, which in a lot of my figures, they get old and they break down. So the legs fall off, and then it's like you got to find a thick rubber band or something. And I didn't like the squeezable heads. Now, your mileage may vary, but that brings me to a controversial topic, and that is the new head sculpt of this He-Man for the Origins line. And straight out the gates, I'm going to say I am 100% with this. No, no, no to the old head. No, 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 no. I know there's going to be a lot of fans who are going to be in an uproar. They're going to be like, no, that's blasphemy. The old head is the best. I think it's just good that we have the option to have both. Because to me, this captures the animation from Filmation, and it also balances out with the mini comic. To me, when I look at the original He-Man head, it, you know, just doesn't look like any of them. Doesn't look like the cartoon. When I see it, I don't think that's He-Man from the cartoon, nor do I think it's from the comic. You know, the hair is shorter, the face is a little bit more, like, I guess, chiseled. This one at least has the hair, and it has this, you know, kind of interesting expression that I think could be a little bit improved. That's my, little remark there. It's kind of like he wants to smile, but he wants to be angry. So maybe in the future they can give us like a happy smiling one for like the Prince Adam, or just when He-Man is being more jolly, and then of course the more enraged. So I will say that Super 7 is a company that makes classic type figures that have the more Filmation type head for, like, at least I've liked, of course, He-Man, I've liked Man-at-Arms, and I wouldn't mind having that option. But for those figures, I skipped out on them because, again, they don't capture the comic book, which I kind of want a balance of both comic book and animation. And I don't really like how with the classics and some of the new figures that when they start inserting like different articulation in the body, you can see like the whole cutout of it. And then in the arms, there's like the bolts and everything. So to me, it looks too much like a toy. One of my favorite aspects of what I call action models, you'll hear me use this term a lot. I like the way that they can kind of keep the suspension of disbelief, looking at the figure as though it actually popped off the show, the cartoon, the movie, or out of the comic book. Which is why this Origins figure to me is incredible, because it does just that. I like with the modern articulation, what they've done is they've went ahead and they've added bending at the knees, the feet, the elbows, the head turns great, the waist still turns, and the wrists bend in. On top of that, you can pop off pieces like the head, the arms, and the waist, so that way you can swap them and make your own custom characters. Now they do all of this while hiding the joints, and I think they did it nearly flawlessly. You can only slightly see a little bit of the joint in the forearm, but you don't on either side from the pegs or the screws. You don't see those, and you don't see them in the knees either. So again, incredible figure. So I definitely recommend this, and I am a huge fan. I support this line. You guys did incredible, Mattel, in the way that you kind of updated this line. My only wish for the future is, I think what a lot of people have been asking for, give us packs that just have accessories like, different head sculpts, new weapons, maybe new armors. That way we can further customize these figures to our liking.
And that's important because, it's going to be subjective, and we have the advantage of being able to switch the heads and stuff. And for the record, I will say now that when I look at the old vintage He-Man head, I think Benicio del Toro, but that's just me. The new one, I'm sure you guys could think of some lookalikes. Leave those in the comments below. But yeah, all in all, keep it up, Mattel. You guys are doing great. And I'm looking forward to more Origins. He-Man MOTU.
All right, guys, thanks so much. I'll be doing a lot more videos about, not only toys, gaming, things that I'm interested in. So like, subscribe. I want to hear your comments below. What do you guys think?